Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with another episode of What Are We Eating? It's day number 2 of the 5 days of frozen spaghetti and meatballs. If you played and you survived yesterday's drinking game of taking a drink every time I said frozen spaghetti and meatballs, feel free to play again today. If you happen to miss yesterday's video, go back and watch the video and play the drinking game, and then come back and watch today's video and play the drinking game again. Just remember, if you're going to play the game and you're going to drink alcohol, ensure that you're 21 years of age and you drink responsibly. I made a mistake in yesterday's video and said that the 10-ounce Banquet frozen spaghetti and meatballs cost $1.89, when in fact it only cost $1.68. All of the prices that we're going to be using for the frozen spaghetti and meatballs are from Walmart. I use the prices from Walmart because Walmart carries just about everything, and most people have Walmarts near them. So now let's go over today's second least expensive frozen spaghetti and meatballs. And with this brand being the second least inexpensive frozen spaghetti and meatballs, I was shocked. It's the 12.4 ounce Marie Callender's Classic Frozen Spaghetti and Meatballs Bowl, which only cost $2.98, which is savory meatballs over spaghetti and a slow-simmered Italian-style tomato sauce. I was expecting Marie Callender's frozen spaghetti and meatballs to be one of the most expensive frozen spaghetti and meatballs, but I was wrong. Here's the ingredient list, and wouldn't you know it, there's no TVP in these meatballs. Well, actually, there's textured soy protein concentrate, which is basically the same thing as TVP. But hey, we gotta give Marie Callender's a break on this one. It looks like they have burgundy wine in the sauce and the meatballs. And I'm sure it's the best burgundy wine you can get. The serving size is the whole container, which has 460 calories, 20 grams of total fat, 7 grams of saturated fat, a half a gram of trans fat, 3 grams of polyunsaturated fat, 8 grams of monounsaturated fat, 45 milligrams of cholesterol, 1,240 milligrams of sodium, 50 grams of carbohydrates, 5 grams of fiber, 7 grams of sugars, and 20 grams of protein. Now here's the Marie Callender's frozen spaghetti and meatballs right out of the freezer and right out of the box. The directions say there's no reason to vent the film on the frozen spaghetti and meatballs. Just microwave on high for 4 minutes and then give it a stir and let it cook for another 1.5 to 2 minutes. Here's our Marie Callender's frozen spaghetti and meatballs after cooking for a total of 5.5 minutes. Now the Marie Callender's frozen spaghetti and meatballs weighed 12.4 ounces compared to the Banquet's frozen spaghetti and meatballs at 10 ounces. The Marie Callender's frozen spaghetti and meatballs looks like a whole lot more food than 2.4 ounces. And we went in to try to get a really good twist on the spaghetti, but just like the Banquet frozen spaghetti and meatballs, the spaghetti was too short.
Yeah, you've heard that before.
Damn it, Scooter, leave me alone. But we were able to get a sufficient amount to stick in my pie hole and shove it down my gullet. The spaghetti was cooked perfectly, and it tasted like a better quality spaghetti. While I'm cramming my mouth with frozen spaghetti and meatballs, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. And don't forget, if you subscribe and hit that like button, you get a free lifetime subscription to the Wolf Pit Food and Cooking channel. When I tried the noodles, the sauce kind of caught me off guard, but not in a bad way. It was a little bit spicy. Neither the Banquet or the Marie Callender's frozen spaghetti and meatballs had a whole lot of sauce. You need the extra sauce to dip your garlic bread in. Banquet and Marie Callender's, if you're listening, please add more sauce. Now it's time to shank a meatball. Now that looks like a tasty meatball. That was the best Italian impression I could do, but I think I failed. I think instead of sounding like an Italian chef, I sounded like Dracula. Now in order to taste the meatball by itself, Excuse me, children, I have to suck the sauce off the meatball. Who knew that vintage adult movie music would come in handy one day? Now that the spicy sauce is removed from our meatball, we can bite into it and see what it tastes like on its own. Now there's good and somewhat bad about the meatball. The good news is the texture of the meatball. It was very tender, very meaty, and very moist. Just like you would make a meatball at home, but it didn't have any flavor. I have to stop the review of Marie Callender's frozen spaghetti and meatballs just for a second. Yesterday, when I reviewed Banquet's frozen spaghetti and meatballs, I gave it a score of 7 out of 10. And I'm going to stick with that score, especially after I found out the price was not $1.89, but rather $1.68. And since I'm basing the score on quality, value, and flavor, the score may be misleading, because the value of the Banquet frozen spaghetti and meatballs played a big part in giving it a score of 7 out of 10. Does this make sense to you, the people? I think after this series review, I'm going to individually score and combine all those numbers together for the final score. That way I think it'll give it more of an overall accurate score. So back to the Marie Callender's frozen spaghetti and meatballs. The only complaint I had was the meatballs didn't have much flavor at all, but they did have a good meaty texture. The noodles tasted like good quality noodles and they were cooked perfectly, and the sauce was flavorful and spicy. I just wish there was more sauce. And for $2.19, it's a good amount of food and a bargain, which is why I'm going to give Marie Callender's frozen spaghetti and meatballs an 8 out of 10. Stay tuned for tomorrow's frozen spaghetti and meatball review that costs just a little bit more. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.